Did she tag me?
You're
Oh,
live.
it's live.
Okay. Hi, everybody. This is Dr. Donna Marino. I'm an executive coach and psychologist, and this is stop 6 of our virtual book tour for Unleash the Wise Leader in You, a woman's guide to leadership. And I am so excited to be joined tonight by Judy McCutcheon, who is coming to us all the way from the Caribbean. And I wish I was there. She is a leadership and organizational coach. Her business is Go Blue Inc., and they are a management consulting firm. And Judy is just a wonderful woman, a wonderful example of wise leadership, and I can't wait to get talking with her.
Hi, good night. Hi, Dr. Donna, thank you so much. I am extremely happy to be here tonight. And I am coming to you from the Caribbean. I am in Grenada. We had some rain today, but generally it's nice and it's sunny. And well, in our parts, it's the hurricane season, but right now we have no hurricane on the horizon.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Judy and I met pretty recently and just got to talking about our views on leadership and leadership in the world and really hit it off. And I knew that she would be a great woman to interview for the virtual book tour. So I'm very grateful she's here. And Judy, I'd like to ask you first, what does wise leadership mean to you?
For me, wise leadership means leading with empathy, leading with compassion. It does not mean being soft, but it means having understanding, but still being firm in leading your people. And it's about guiding your people to achieve the things that you want the organization to achieve. So for me, that is what wise leadership is.
Yeah, it's reminding me of the chapter on Find Your Voice. And one of the ways my voice was described when I was in management was kind but firm, and it's that empathy and that compassion and seeing something from another point of view, but also having to set boundaries and guidelines and get people to the end result, right?
Yes, definitely. And one of the things I have found with women leaders especially is that we are afraid to set boundaries because we are afraid of how we've seen. We want to please everybody, and not please ourselves. So in pleasing everybody, our voice gets stifled and it never gets heard. So it is about being able to set those boundaries also.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I think there's a lot of cultural and social messages about women and their voice. It's, even for children, right? It's better to be seen than to be heard. And
I know. Yes, little girls should be seen and not heard. If you're too loud, it means that you're too aggressive. If you're too soft, it means something else. And culturally, also that there are these gender roles that we have. This is how a girl should behave. This is how a boy should behave. These are the job for boys. These are the job for girls. So what has happened traditionally is that we have been boxed into corners. So traditionally, the man is always the executive, the CEO, all of that. And women, if you look in organizations, the biggest, um, the middle management, which is the biggest part of management, 95% females.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah. That's a big number. And then you go up to executive and it's very small. I think it's 4% or less. Yeah, I'm not exactly sure of
I
the
think it's about, I was reading, I think it's Harvard Business Review, and I think it was just like about 5% in the Swiss suit. And funny enough, w- I was looking to find a female executive right here where I am, not an executive, but a CEO.
Mhm.
And it was really it was difficult for me to
Yeah.
find a female CEO.
Yeah. Yeah. What do you think are some of the obstacles that women face when they move into leadership or want to move into leadership that may stand in their way and make them hold back?
Well, one thing for sure is that voice in the head. You know, it's that self-sabotage that we tend to do. Again, because we're thinking we need to please this person and we need to please these others over here. And we don't want, if we're the only female in the boardroom, we don't want to displease everybody else. And I think it's worse when we move up the rank.
Mm-hmm.
If we come from outside and come in, we operate a little bit different than when we on the inside, because it's almost always as if we have to prove something, but really and truly we always have to prove that we can do it twice as better as our male counterparts to be able to even consider it seriously.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah, I think that's true. And then, in addition, the research shows that women are still juggling a lot more outside of work, in the home, and then they're trying to prove themselves at work, and
Yeah.
it can get hard, and sometimes women give up. I recently saw something from the Lean In organization. Sharon Salzberg's organization about a lot of women in COVID are considering leaving their careers. The kids are home if you have kids and they're e-learning and there's just a lot of conflicting needs, which I think can be really challenging, especially for women or stay-at-home dads, you know.
Yeah, the thing is though that the way, based on how we are socialized, the thing is we feel guilty if we if it seems as if we're putting our career before the
Mm-hmm.
husband and the kids and the family and dinner and all that kind of stuff. But we have to learn to balance. Nurturing a child, raising a child is not a one gender specific job. It
Right.
really isn't. And we have to learn to put aside that guilty feeling and really forget about how society has socialized us to behave. You know, yes, you can have a kid, you can have a family, you can have a husband, you can have children and still be a CEO, a managing director, and do all of them effectively. However, that requires getting some help. So
Yeah.
we have to remember that we're not superheroes, we're not super
Right.
moms, we're not super, so that we ask for help when we need it. And there are some jobs you just farm out.
Yeah, exactly. I'm a big proponent of that. And with my coaching clients, we talk a lot about that, like really zoning in on what you love to do. What are the things that realistically only you can do, whether it's in your CEO position or owning a business. And then the rest, really, you need to delegate out. And a lot of times that's stuff around the home so that you can invest in your career. I
For
know.
certainly,
Yeah.
certainly. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And
So
you really have
you
to
don't need
tune
to
into
do,
your values. Sorry,
yeah.
Judy.
No, I was saying you don't need to do all the cooking. You don't need to do all the washing. You don't need to do all the baking. There are some things that you simply don't need to do all the time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I am not the crafty mom. I am not the baking mom. I am the mom who is going to laugh and joke and play and have fun, and the mom who's going to run a business and, the other stuff. I always say you can have it all, you just can't do it all. And it really is about priorities.
Exactly. And I fully agree with you. I am certainly not a cooking mother.
Mm-hmm.
I'll do it now and then,
Yeah.
but you cannot expect it from me because it's not going to happen. I'm not going to clean because it's not going to happen. I am just not that mother. But I am going to be there. I am going to go to school. I am going to check on your schoolwork. I'm going to make sure that you have everything you need. I'll ask if you have breakfast, but I'm not making it, but I'll ask if you had breakfast.
Yeah.
I have to know the things that I am good at,
Mm-hmm.
the things that I'm not good at. And the things that I am not good at, I'm not going to try to do them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, in one of the strengths measures that I use with clients, I really like it. It's called the Strengths Profile, and it looks at your overused strengths, underused strengths, your learned behaviors, and your weaknesses. And your learned behaviors and your weaknesses, they look at energy level as well. And those are the things that are draining to you. And so, as much as possible, you want to farm those out and just stay in your
Focus.
strengths,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
you know?
I certainly do agree with that because when we try to be everything to everybody, we burn out. We really do burn out. And then in the end, we nothing to nobody. And I always like to use the analogy of when you go on a plane.
Mm-hmm.
When they're giving the safety instructions, they say to you, put your mask on first. Because if you try to put on the person next to you mask, you will pass out.
Mm-hmm.
So I believe, and I say that we're not being selfish.
Right.
We're being self-full because we are fooling ourselves. I mean, you simply cannot pour from an empty water can.
Yeah. And
You
I think
can't.
that's something
So
women struggle with a lot, the self-care piece, and having in their head that self-care is selfish, right? I think that's a thing that they struggle with a lot.
yes, because I think that because we are so conditioned, because by nature we are nurturers. So we are the ones who are going to look after the aging parents. We are the ones who are going to take care of the sick. We're the ones who are going to do all of that. So naturally we are conditioned to always look after other people's needs first.
Yeah.
If you ask a woman about compassion, it's always outwards. It's never inward. You know, we never look at compassion for self. It's always compassion for somebody else. But
Mm-hmm.
I believe that to be able to have compassion for somebody else, I must have compassion for myself first, because that's how I know what compassion is.
Yeah. Oh, that's beautiful, Judy. I'm so glad you said that because I don't think a lot of people think about compassion for self. And I know that that's something that when my clients are really struggling with their inner critic and they're really beating themselves up and, feeling like they should be different in some way, they should be making more progress or they should be less emotional or whatever. I always ask them to be, gentle and compassionate with themselves. Beating ourselves up doesn't actually work. We don't change out of that. We actually change out of self-love.
Definitely. And beating ourselves up really doesn't serve any purpose.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things I say to people is that we are all emotional beings. That's who
Mm.
we are, whether it's a male, whether it's a female.
Mm.
One of the things, it's a theory I have, it's not tested, but this is just a theory I have, that men don't show their emotions because from a young age, they're not encouraged to show their
Mhm.
emotions. So if they were encouraged to experience a full range of their emotions like females, then we'll have a good set of emotionally balanced
Yeah,
people in the workplace.
yeah. Well, and that's something I do talk about in the book in the different chapters is all of this gender socialization and the cultural messages we get, because gender is just a social construct. So, it is not, sex is biological, gender is not. Gender is what we've socially normed people to be, how to act, how to behave, whether to be permissive or assertive, all of that. And we can change that.
Oh, definitely, definitely we can. And as you say that, because of all that socialization brings with it a lot of fear. And I really like the boogeyman chapter. I just love, for me, it's like you won't see a book for adults talking about the boogeyman, but really that is what the
Right.
fear is. It is the boogeyman, you know?
It is, right? It's that thing, like I just think about like being little and being in the dark and you're hearing every bump and you're seeing shadows that may or may not be there and your imagination runs wild. And that's what fear is. Half of it's in your imagination and you're in this place of what if, what if, and insert that terrible thing, right? And we can
Yeah.
just so easily turn that on its head. What if everything goes well? What if everything works out exactly as I want it to? And there's really no reason that the fear thought is more likely to happen than the success thought.
And one of the things is that what we don't realize is that the things that we fear most happens because that's where we put all our energy. The
Mm-hmm.
moment we take our energies away from that thing, then it has no power over us.
Yeah.
And that is what fear does. It disempowers us.
Yes. Yes. In behavioral psychology, we actually say what you put your attention on grows. And so oftentimes we use it as an example with parenting and with kids. If you focus all your attention on their bad behavior, you're reinforcing it and you're going to get more of it. If you focus
Hey,
on
that
their
is
good
that is
behavior, right?
that is so true. That is so
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
And then you can flip that around to the workplace as well. So
Mhm.
if you have a manager, or if the boss always doesn't expect anything good from the staff, that's what they give you. So it really is a
Yeah,
self-fulfilling prophecy, you know? It
absolutely.
is I have this example of my oldest daughter. I always used to be fussing about her and her schoolwork. Like, I think I really used to fluster the child a lot with
Mhm.
her schoolwork because, of course, coming from where I came from, education was always drilled into us as our ticket out.
Mm,
So
mhm.
education is very high on my list of things. I mean, I had to consciously tell myself, don't study anymore, honestly, because I just study and study and study. So
Mhm.
I used to be behind her all the time. And I remember when she was doing her primary school exam to go into high school, that year I said, I'm not telling her anything about school. I'm not sending her to any extra lessons. I'm doing nothing of the sort.
Mm.
And she came and she asked to go to one extra class. And at the end of the thing, out of 500, she got 486.
Wow.
So had I continued to push, she would
Yeah.
have gotten less. So sometimes we just have to kind of leave them and say, okay, this is what I expect. I'm going to guide you, but I'm not going to be down your neck all the time. And that is what happens in organizations. So when you're thinking about a wise leader, you're thinking about somebody who, I'm going to say what John Maxwell says, knows the way and goes the way, shows the way kind of thing. So I'm just going to show you, but I expect you to keep going.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that whether you're a parent or a manager, so many people struggle with that micromanaging. And the natural reaction to that is to rebel. If you feel, if you think about an animal that's backed into a corner, it's gonna, fight or freeze. And it's the same thing, it may not be as intense of a stress response, but that's going to be the reaction. And
but it could be just as intense as a reaction, because you could actually make the person's shut down. You know,
oh, sure.
yeah, you can make them shut down. I remember when my last, and I like to say it's my last paying job, because it's my last job before I opened my consultancy. And when I got there, nobody made a decision. The simplest of decision, they came to me. And after a while, I thought, what is this? So I remember one day this girl came into the office and she said, Miss Mark, and she told me what the issue was. And then I said to her, okay, so what will you do? And she had the correct answer. She knew exactly what had to be done. So then I'm saying to them, okay, guys, you can do it. But one of the things that we don't do as leaders is that we don't allow our people to make mistakes.
Yeah, that's really powerful. I think that is so true. And if we're not able to make mistakes, we will never allow ourselves to expand as much as we're capable of, because it's only when you're touching your edges that you start to see mistakes and failure. And it's actually a really great sign, because you're not staying in your comfort zone. You're really there stretching. And those going to keep expanding your comfort zone, and that in reality we should be celebrating, not I think having some internet connection.
Yes, that seems to be the problem, but it's not going to keep us back. We're going to keep going.
Yeah.
With everybody on now and all this thing, the bandwidth is just ridiculous.
Yeah, it's definitely been very challenging during COVID, with everyone being virtual and all of our systems now using the internet, whether it's the TV or the computer or the Google Home, whatever it is, right?
Yeah. The Internet of Things. Yeah. But I really enjoyed like when I was reading about finding your voice. That chapter I love a lot. And the boogeyman, just when I saw it, I was just laughing so much. I'm like, there is no adult book that talks about the boogeyman. There's absolutely none. So I think that was wonderful. But the finding your voice chapter, I think for women leaders, I think that is a very, very important chapter, because it really tells us, and I like how you give action points. I really love how you give action points. So you're not only saying, okay, this is what is happening with us, but you're also saying this is what is happening. But if you do these things, it's going to help you. So I really like that about the book, the action steps. But that chapter I think is really important for women leaders to read, really read it, and read it again and read it again and read it again, because a lot of times what happens to us in organizations is that we have no voice.
Mm-hmm.
We have no voice, and that is what keeps us back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And, to really get the most out of the book, the exercises are so important, because a lot of people take in knowledge and then they say things like, well, I know better. I know I should be doing this. But they don't have the tool set to get from knowing to living it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I really wanted the book to be, the workbook, all the additional pieces that I created with it, the card deck and the audios. It's all really to move it from a place of knowing in your head to really like owning it in your body and living it out in the world.
And I think that that is absolutely fantastic, because when you read a lot of these, because there's no shortage of self-help books, there really isn't.
Right.
But
Right.
there is none, they don't come with all those different tools. Like, you may get one of the tool, but you don't get the entire set of tools. And that I think is really, I think that's where you kind of up the game, raise the roof, raise the bar kind
Oh,
of
I
thing.
love it.
Yeah, because what you have done is that you have given us not only a book, but we have a workbook, we have the cards, there's the audio, and I think that that's absolutely brilliant.
Well, thank you so much, Judy. I really appreciate that. Certainly a lot of thought went into it. And, as, I used to be a therapist, then I've moved into coaching. People get stuck and hung up, knowing that there's a better way, that working at level, just learning it and knowing it in your brain is just that first awareness. And then ask that to help you move ingrained subconscious beliefs that are, creating the fear, creating the sabotage, creating and in the brain. And I'm going to call them mistakes, same mistake better, and yet I can't stop it.
There you are.
Hello, we got disconnected there for a bit because of the internet issues. So apologize for that. It's just really unstable right now for some reason.
Yeah, it is. I think it is the fact that it's this hour and everybody's home, everybody's on, but we will just keep riding through and keep going. We will that will not, in the Caribbean we say rain can't stop the reggae jam.
Oh, I love it.
So this is not going to stop us. We're just going to keep going.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for your patience, Judy. I really appreciate it. And it's such a wonderful conversation that I hope that it will catch everything we said, but I have faith that people will hear what they need to tonight.
Yes, definitely. I certainly believe that. So what they didn't hear, it simply means that they were not meant to hear it. So
Right.
we just kind of let that be and move on. But yeah, yeah, you were talking before you went off, you were talking about your work as a coach.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I didn't catch a lot of that.
Okay. I was talking about that for part 2 of the book. There are 5 hypnosis tracks on the album, and that's because part 2 of the book is all the obstacles, the fear, the imposter syndrome, the sabotage, status quo, all those issues. And hypnosis really helps us tap into those subconscious beliefs that are sabotaging us, the beliefs that we picked up when we were real little and got implanted there. And even though, our frontal lobe is saying, no, we believe this now, that primal brain is like, no, we don't.
Exactly. So that's one of the reasons why repeating mantras alone doesn't work,
Mm-hmm.
because your brain sees it as a lie. I mean, I am
Exactly.
a millionaire, I'm a millionaire. Your brain is telling you like, no, you're not, kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So many people don't know that. It's really surprising that if you pick an affirmation that your brain can't believe, you can say it till you're blue in the face, and it's not going to shift anything. And so you have to really start small and pick something, that might be very general, or you might say, sometimes I'm, you
Yeah,
know,
just reframe, I guess reframe it
mm-hmm.
till your brain can actually see, well, oh yes, this is true, this is happening, and until,
Right,
yeah,
right.
yeah,
And
yeah.
as you accept that first thought, after a while, you can reframe again. And it's like going up a ladder, right? And it's like you can't stand at the bottom of the ladder and expect yourself to jump to the top,
That's
right?
right, that's
You
right,
would never
that's right.
expect that. And that's what people do often with affirmations. And if you want to get them to work, you have to really go one rung at a time till
At the
you
time, yeah,
till you get there,
yeah.
you know.
But I want to ask you, I know that this is your interview, but I want to ask you a
Okay.
question, because you say hypnosis, and I know that for a lot of people, not only in the Caribbean, but a lot of people have this misconception about what hypnosis is. So I don't know if you want to just,
Oh yeah, I'm glad you asked that question, because yes, people think you're going to make me do something I don't want to do. You're going to make me cluck like a chicken. What if, like in Office Space, what if I never come out of the of the trance? What if I and honestly, hypnosis is really not much different than a guided meditation. Sometimes there can be scripts to them that you say, but really it's just a deep sense of relaxation. It's very similar to a guided meditation. You could potentially do hypnosis without even knowing that you're doing it and think that it's just that guided meditation. Um, and it's really like you would never do anything in hypnosis that you wouldn't do in real life, and you can't get stuck in it. And it's usually a very pleasant experience for people, and they feel really relaxed and refreshed afterwards. So
well, I know I'm going to be coming where are you, on the West Coast?
I'm in the Midwest.
Well, I'm going to come in the Midwest and get my session.
That would be fantastic. It would actually be better if I went to the Caribbean, though.
Oh, yes. It would be
That's what we
better.
have to do.
So when we're going to do this, when we can have in-person
Yeah.
conversations again, and we have the conference, because
Mhm.
what I promised one of the speakers, because she was like Monique was supposed to be coming to Grenada for the conference, like actually be here. So I
Yeah.
promised her, I said, okay, when we can do it in person, then we will um, invite the speakers who want to come and who couldn't to
Yeah.
be here in person and be at the conference. So you never know.
You never know.
You
Be
never know. You
fantastic.
never know. Yeah.
Judy, can you tell us more about the conference?
All right. So the conference, this is our second leadership conference. Last year, we had the first one. So at the end of 2018, I had this great idea that, you know what, we should do a leadership conference using primarily Caribbean CEOs and managing directors to as facilitators, because of course we can relate to their experiences, and they're doing great things and we can learn from them. So when they talk to us, it's the same language. So when you say something, I understand where you're coming from, right? So the idea was that we will use those people to help build our leadership capacity in the Caribbean, because as much as we do have a lot of managers, I think our leadership capacity needs to increase. And we can do that by, like I said, using our own people who are doing great things, because we do have CEOs and managing directors all over the Caribbean who are doing really good things. So the idea really was born out of that. And then I thought, okay, so I'm also going to bring some global experience into the mix. So we learn local and regional as well as global. And two, we help to the global people can learn from us as well, so we can learn from each other. So last year we had that, and we had two people out of the US. And this year, so I was busy planning to have it in person, and then COVID came. So I kind of put it on hold for a little bit, but then in August, I thought, it's time that I start to put this thing together, because nobody's going to be traveling anywhere anytime soon. So we might as well just do it virtual. So I started, and so it is on the 19th and 20th of November. It's not going to be all day. It's going to be for the first part of the day. So the first 5 hours. So we're going to start from 8. By 12, 1 o'clock, we will be done on each day, because I know that a lot of people just all zoomed out. And thank God we won't be using Zoom, because, everybody just so zoomed out. And the theme for this year is the future of leadership, changing the way we lead for sustained competitive advantage. Because of course, we can't operate the same way as we did post-COVID. Even pre-COVID, sorry, we had to start changing. So we had to look at artificial intelligence. We had to look at digitization, bringing those things into the workplace to make it easier. And I know when we talk about AI, a lot of people think that AI replacing people, but it's just making people's job more efficient. So all of that stuff we wanted to bring to people. So this year, what we're going to do is we're going to say, okay, now that COVID is here, we can't do the same thing. We have to then be intentional about leadership. It has to be intentional. So some of the topics that we'll be looking at, and I'm pleased to say that Dr. Donna is one of our speakers. I was so happy when she agreed. And her topic is the fundamentals of a great organizational culture, and which falls right into her book and leadership and all of that. So it's going to, I know that your session will be fabulous.
Oh, thank you,
We're
Judy.
looking at things like leading in the midst of chaos. How do you lead? Because I know that with COVID, it just took everybody by surprise. And, the leaders who were good became better and the leaders who were bad just became worse. So
Yeah,
we have to
yeah.
figure out how we do that. So the topics are all geared towards that. And we do have some fabulous speakers. So we have you, Dr. Donna, we have Monique Russell, we have our university in the Caribbean, and I really like to boast about our university because I'm a product of that university. The University of the West Indies, it is in the top 5% of universities globally. So
That's
we are up
amazing.
there just with the best of them. So we will be having the Vice Chancellor, Sir Hilary Beckles. He is our speaker, and he's going to be talking on the theme of the conference.
That's great. That's great.
We also have Dr. Longsworth, and she is the principal of one of the campuses, but it's the virtual campus. So she is the principal of that. So she has been leading in a virtual world forever. So
Mm-hmm.
she is going to be talking about how you lead effectively in a virtual world. And yeah, and we have some CEOs out of Trinidad, and so it's a real nice regional. Well, now it's an international conference, and I'm really really excited about it because it's our first virtual big scale, large scale event.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm really excited about that. And we'll also be having workshops. We'll be
That's
having workshops. So some of the topics would kind of meander into a workshop kind of thing. So we'll be having workshops that will break up the monotony of just sitting down. So we
yeah,
really planning to
yeah.
make it a fun 2 days. And of course we have our host. Our host is, I mean, I just can't, she's just a fabulous host, Dr. Terry Carell Reed. She's our host and she's out of Jamaica. Last year, when we had the conference in person and we did the evaluation form, everything came back saying we want the host to come back.
That's fantastic.
Yes, it was just amazing. But she's amazing. She really is amazing. When you interact with her, and you will get to interact with
Yeah,
her.
I'm looking
Yeah,
forward to it.
she's here. So that's it. We have our registration is now live, and it's on our website. And our website is www.goblueinc.net, and it's GOBLUEINC.net. And you'll see all the speakers on. You'll get to read the speakers bio. We're still waiting for two more speakers, but we have the majority of our speakers on, and you can check them out and you can register. We do have an early bird special until the 19th of November. The early bird special is 149,
Oh,
and the regular is 197.
that's a great deal for all of that.
Yeah, I think it is. I really think it is. And it's not you getting real experts who are
Yeah,
going to share with you exactly what they know and how they have done it. And you can ask questions, you get your questions answered. So I think it's good value. What we didn't want to do is that we didn't want to put it any higher than this because we understand what is the situation right now. And I think that something like this should be accessible
yeah,
to a lot of people. Yeah.
yeah. I would agree. I would agree. That sounds like wise leadership to me.
Coming
Yeah.
to think of it.
I'm really looking forward to speaking at that event and hearing the other speakers too, because it's such a star lineup, really. So many really big experts.
Yeah.
And I can't wait to hear what they have to say. So Judy,
Yes, yes, yes. I am looking forward to that. Really, I am. I
yeah.
am.
So as we
Again, I know it's
wrap
your
up,
interview,
oh,
but I
sorry.
want to ask you, there's one chapter that we didn't talk about. So I'm coming back to your book again because
Oh,
I
okay,
really
great.
enjoyed. No, I enjoyed the chapters that I read. I really enjoyed them. And your tribe,
Yes, yeah.
that chapter, tell me about it, because what I have found is that women, when they have, as they go up the ranks, they tend to take on the male persona,
Mm-hmm.
um, because it is probably because that's the examples that we have.
Yeah.
The examples that we have are the male examples. So as the higher up you go, you tend to behave a lot like your male
Yeah.
counterpart. And for me, I find it ugly because you're not your true self.
Mm-hmm.
You're not operating from a place of authenticity. And
Yeah.
I find that very, very ugly. I don't know what you find.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's one of the things that I talk about in Find Your Voice is that having those mostly male role models in the executive positions or, in the leadership positions, beyond work. Um, Oftentimes women will begin to mimic those male role models because those are the people. And I agree with you that um, I really want people to embrace their authentic voice, to find what's unique about them, to express it in the way that's unique to them. And kind of circling back to the tribe, I think you have to assemble people around you who love you for that unique voice, who are going to be your biggest champions, who can see the vision that you hold, that you're enlisting these people in your vision and that you can trust them, that they're not going to hold you down or hold you back. And that tribe could be men and women. That tribe can be any gender. And it's just about the people who are going to help you rise and are not going to be pulling on your coattails, pulling you down. Yeah.
And I think it's important for us to understand when it's time to let go,
Yep.
because there will be people on our journey that we have to let go, and I have had to learn that. And you find all these excuses to hold on to them, right? You find all the excuses to
Yeah.
hold on to them because you think, oh, that person have been there, that person has been there, they've been there. However, on your new journey, maybe they don't see your vision, maybe they don't understand it. So maybe it's not a deliberate sabotage. It's just that they're not at that level yet to identify with where you want to go. So we have to get to that point. And I know that I've had to get to that point where I've had to, and it's a battle. It really is a
Yeah.
battle
Yeah.
inside that you think, am I making the right decision? Am I doing this? Am I doing that? And then, the self-doubt comes up.
Mhm.
And then you put it off for a little while longer, and you put it off for a little while longer. And it doesn't do you any good. So we have to learn, as part of cultivating our tribe, um, we really have to be honest and really look at it and make a tough decision, which really is what a wise leader would do.
Right. Right. And it is hard. You have to kind of think about it. I know this might sound harsh, but you have to think about it as pruning, right? And if you have a bush, or, you prune it so that it can have more life, but you have to take off the parts that aren't helping and that are hindering the plant from growing. And we kind of have to do that with our lives as we up level. And, definitely it happens with people, and it can be sad and it can be difficult. But I think relationships come and go through our life because they serve a purpose. And sometimes we've learned the lessons that we were meant to through that relationship, and it is time to move on.
Yes, for sure. And I'm going to say something that Medea said. People come into your life for a reason, a season, and a lifetime. And sometimes we take the season and try to make it a lifetime.
It's true. It's true. Yeah.
So definitely, I could definitely identify with that. So we really have to know when it's time to let go.
Yeah, definitely. Judy, I appreciate you being here so much tonight. And I hope everybody goes and registers at goblueinc.net for this amazing leadership conference at such a reasonable price. And of course, I hope you go get the book, Unleash the Wise Leader in You, available on Amazon. And if you'd like the audio album or the card deck, you can get that on my website, drdonnamarino.com. The workbook is also available on Amazon, but there are links on my website as well. Judy, do you have any parting thoughts for us before we go?
So I would like to say to your audience, and I know that you're all wise leaders. So I want to encourage you to go out and get a copy of Dr. Donna's book, because I'm telling you, I've had the pre-look, and it's a fabulous book. I'll tell you. My two favorite chapters are Finding Your Voice and The Boogeyman. Those are my two favorite chapters in the book. And as you read the last chapter, Your Tribe, you and reflect on it, do the exercises, you would realize that the book really is a real perfect guide for getting you through your leadership journey. So I really want to encourage you all to go and get it. I know that I am definitely going to get the tape, the hypnotic tapes. And people, hypnosis is not anything woo-woo. It is really to help you, like Dr. Donna says. It's almost like a guided meditation. And if you have done a guided meditation, you'd realize that it sends you into a really calm space. So it's really is the same thing. So that's my parting words. Go and get the entire thing, the deck, the book, the workbook, the every single thing. Just go and get it.
Well, thank you so much, Judy. I appreciate those kind words so much. And it tickles me how much it tickles you that there's a chapter called The Boogeyman.
Yes, so yes. I love that. I really, really love that. Yeah. Because we can all relate to the boogeyman.
Yeah.
We can all relate to the boogeyman. So yeah.
Definitely. Well, thank you. And for the audience, you can find links to Judy's page and my page and the books and everything in the comments. So don't be shy about looking through there. And I hope you join us tomorrow night for our last stop on the book tour with Barry Baskin. And she is a photographer and a mother of twins and an activist. And she is my photographer for my website photos. And she did my daughter's bat mitzvah this summer. So she's super talented, and you're going to love talking with her tomorrow night. So
I'll be in the audience.
Yes, great.
Yes,
Looking for you.
Yes, I'll definitely be in the audience for sure.
Great. Thank you so much, Judy.
So thank you very much for having me on. I do appreciate it. I actually enjoyed, I really enjoyed our little chat.
Thank you.
I think it was fabulous, and I appreciate it very much.
Thank you. Same here.